Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. So welcome to chapter 4, which is about the introduction to organic chemistry. So chapter 4 consists of 4 subtopics, but in this video I'm going to explain further about subtopic 4.1, which is about molecular and structural formula. So here are some of the organic chemicals applications in daily life. As you can see, dekat sini DNA, medicines, fuels, pigments, essential oils, materials, and so much more. Okay, so before we want to learn more about organic chemistry, I want you to know what is hydrocarbons first. Okay, so hydrocarbons ni is basically an organic compounds yang ada carbon atom. Okay, as you can see here, here are some of the properties of carbon atom. As we know, carbon atom ada 4 valence electron. So, bila dia ada 4 valence electrons, that means dia boleh buat 4 covalent bonds. Tak kisahlah dia nak jadikan single bond ke, double bond or triple bond. Okay. So here are some of the classification of hydrocarbons. We have 3 of them such as alkane, alkene and alkyne. Kalau alkane adalah carbon single bond. Kiranya carbon dia akan buat another bond with another carbon. But it is a single bond. Okay, kalau alkene pula is when carbon dia buat bond with another carbon atom, but it is a double bond. Tapi as you can see here, they still maintain 4 covalent bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, alkyne pula ialah carbon-carbon triple bond. Tapi they still maintain ada 4 covalent bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 2 types of hydrocarbons. The first one is saturated hydrocarbons and the second one is the unsaturated hydrocarbons. Kalau saturated hydrocarbons is any hydrocarbons yang single bond sahaja. Contohnya macam alkane dan juga cycloalkane. Cycloalkanes ni ialah alkane ataupun carbon-carbon single bond yang bentuk cyclic. Okay. Unsaturated hydrocarbon pula ialah carbon-carbon yang lebih daripada satu bond. Okay. Contohnya double bond and triple bond. Macam alkenes ataupun alkynes. Okay, next is about naming organic compound, tapi basic sahajalah. Since that hydrocarbon ni usually dia akan jadi parent bila you nak namakan organic compound. Sebelum you nak namakan any organic compound, you look at the parent of the hydrocarbon. Kalau let's say ada satu sahaja carbon atom, then we are going to name the parent as meth. Okay, yang kat belakang ni it depends on your functional group. Kalau let's say you ada alkane, so it's going to be methane. Kalau alkene, methane. Kalau let's say alcohol, dia akan jadi methanol. Okay, adalah cara-cara nak namakan dia, tapi it all merujuk pada hydrocarbon. Ada berapa banyak hydrocarbon dekat organic compound tersebut. Kalau let's say ada satu saja carbon is going to be meth. Kalau 2 S, 3 prop, 4 but, 5 pen, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 non, 10 dex. Okay, so I don't know how you nak memorize this, tapi back then the way I want to remember this is I buat mnemonic. Mak engkau pakai boot putih, hari-hari orang nampak dashing. Tapi macam mana you nak hafal ni is all depends on you and your creativity. Okay, next untuk this one is when the hydrocarbon dia jadi substituent. Okay, bila hydrocarbon tu jadi substituent, automatically kat belakang tu kamu letak sahaja YL. Okay, macam mana you nak tahu kalau jadi substituent? For example, kalau let's say you ada hydrocarbon di mana parent dia ialah CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. Contohnya, okay, kat this carbon kita letak substituent yang ada satu saja carbon atom, which is CH3. Therefore, the way you want to name this substituent is going to be methyl. Okay, kalau ada 2 carbon atom dekat substituent ni, Okay, this is the parent. Ni substituent. Okay, kalau let's say dia letak 2 carbon atom jadi CH2, CH3, makanya dia akan jadi ethyl. Kalau ada 3 carbon atom as the substituent, dia akan jadi CH2, CH2, CH3, makanya nama dia akan jadi propyl. Alright? And then next ialah isopropyl. Isopropyl ni ialah bila you punya substituent ada 3 carbon tapi dia arrangement dia macam ni. Okay, dia ada 3 carbon tapi arrangement jadi CH kat sini. CH ni dia melekat dengan parent. Lepas tu ada CH3, CH3. So nama dia adalah isopropyl. Okay, ni famous substituent ni. Okay, isopropyl ni. Okay, next, kalau butyl ialah di mana substituent tu dia ada 4 carbon. Okay, CH2, CH2, CH3. So dia akan jadi butyl. How about isobutyl? Isobutyl ni dia jadi macam ni lah. Dia melekat dengan CH2. Okay. Dia punya substituent tu still ada 4 carbon. Tapi the way dia arrange ialah mengikut this kind of arrangement. Which this parent akan directly melekat pada CH2. Okay. Lepas tu this CH2 dia melekat ada CH. Lepas tu CH3, CH3. Jadi macam ni. Okay. CH3, CH3. Ni kan macam isopropyl. Tapi because dia ada 4 carbon kat sini, so dia akan jadi isobutyl. Alright. It's all the matter of the arrangements of your substituent. Tapi kalau let's say dia ada 4 carbon, regardless dia akan jadi butyl. How about sec-butyl? Sec-butyl ialah bila this parent dia melekat dengan secondary carbon yang ada 4 carbon atom sebagai substituent. Okay, so dia punya arrangement dia macam ni. CH, lepas tu CH2, CH3, CH3. Okay, di mana this carbon atom ialah carbon atom secondary tapi dia still ada 4 carbon atom, so we name it as sec-butyl. Alright, kalau third butyl, your substituent ada 4 carbon atom tapi arrangement dia akan mengikut this third butyl di mana this parent akan melekat dengan carbon tertiary and then tapi dia ada 4 carbon atom jadi CH3, CH3, CH3. Okay, so ini namanya third butyl. Kalau pentyl, macam mana? Pentyl is when your substituent ada 5 carbon atom. Okay. Dia akan jadi CH2, 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 CH3. Dia ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atom sebagai substituent. Isopentyl pula macam mana? Dia akan melekat dengan CH2, lepas tu CH2, cumanya carbon yang next dia akan ikut macam isopropyl, CH3, CH3. Okay, tapi dia punya substituent ni tetap ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon sebagai substituent, cuma dia punya yang kat belakang ni dia macam ikut isopropyl punya arrangement. So neopentyl pula macam mana? Neopentyl is when dia punya substituent still ada 5 carbon, cumanya dia punya arrangement dia macam ni. CH2, C, CH3, CH3, CH3. Okay? Okay, for a neutral organic compound, you kena tahu kalau let's say organic compound tu ada carbon, you need to know carbon can form 4 covalent bonds. Tak kisahlah single bond ke, double bond ataupun triple bond. Kalau hydrogen and halogen atoms such as fluorine, chlorine, bromine dan iodine, dia hanya boleh form a single covalent bond sahaja. Okay? Kalau oxygen, you have to remember dia boleh form 2 covalent bond and dia ada 2 lone pairs. Okay? For example, kalau let's say ada oxygen macam tu, you kena ingat dia ada 2 lone pair and dia boleh buat 2 covalent bond. Alright. Manakala nitrogen pula, dia ada 3 covalent bond and 1 lone pair. So this info penting tau. Sebab nanti bila you nak build organic compounds, you kena tahulah all of these things. Okay, in drawing organic compounds, you need to know what is molecular and structural formula. Structural formula, dia akan show atoms in a molecule yang bond kepada each other. And ada 3 jenis structural formula such as expanded structure, condensed structure and skeletal structure. Okay, so basically, kalau let's say you nak draw organic compound, actually tak kisah nak draw macam mana sekalipun, asalkan you tahu and cukup dia octet everything, okay. Tapinya benda ni sangat berguna for your task assignment, since that your task assignment requires you to draw carefully every molecule in expanded, condensed ataupun skeletal structure. I don't know lah, it depends on your task assignment. Tapi basically kalau as time goes by, you akan belajar macam-macam organic compounds. Actually it doesn't matter pun about how you draw it, as long as lengkap bilangan carbon, lengkap dia punya covalent bond, dia punya lone pair, and there you go, it's fine already. Okay guys, so let's look at the first structural formula that I want you to learn is about expanded structure. Okay, so basically expanded structure ni dia akan show everything, macam bond kena show, and also every atoms, okay, tapi dia bukanlah actual representation of the actual shapes of the molecule. For example, kalau you ada molecular formula C4H9Cl, so the expanded structure will look something like this, okay, di mana kita akan ada 4 carbon atoms, and you know that carbon dia boleh buat 4 covalent bond. So kita assume saja everything is a single bond here is because ada 9 bilangan hydrogen kat sini, lepas tu ada 1 Cl, okay. Tapi Cl ni since that dia tak mention dekat mana-mana kedudukan, so you letak sahaja kat mana-mana. Next is alcohol. Alcohol is C2H6O. So alcohol, dia punya functional group dia adalah OH. Okay, so you have to reserve one of the bilangan H kat sini adalah milik O. So the way you want to draw the expanded structure will look something like this. Tapi kalau ikutkan, if let's say your task assignment asks you to draw a full expanded structure of an alcohol, this will be the wrong one. Why? Because this one is not a full expanded structure yet. Okay, bukanlah full expanded structure because OH ni dia condensekan dia punya bond. So tak boleh ni. Okay, so kalau let's say you kena buat task assignment nak lukis expanded structure for alcohol, you kena show the bond between oxygen dengan hydrogen. Sebab a full expanded structure dia akan show everything, show every atom, show every bonds, okay. So you kena show the bond here, okay, kena show the bond, show bond between oxygen dan juga hydrogen, which we know the bond between oxygen dengan hydrogen adalah single bond, okay. So kena letak bond kat situ. Okay, I will draw it like this. Okay, to show that this is the bond between oxygen dengan hydrogen. And previously I told you, kalau oxygen, okay, untuk oxygen dia akan ada 2 lone pair dengan 2 bonding pair, macam itulah. So kat sini dia ada 2 bonding pair, so you have to show dia punya lone pair, ada 2 lone pair. Macam itulah. This is how you draw the full expanded structure untuk alkohol yang ada OH. Di mana oksigen tu you kena show dia punya lone pair. Okay. Bukan saja show bond, kena show lone pair juga. Okay. And then next is the carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid dia punya functional group dia adalah COOH. Di mana CO ni adalah C double bond O. Again, and this one is not a full expanded structure because you need to show the bond between oxygen and hydrogen. So kita akan letak this single bond here. Okay, ni bond lah. Ni tengah buat bond between oxygen and hydrogen, and also oxygen since dia ada 2 bonding pair here, so you need to draw dia punya lone pair. Okay, so how about this oxygen? Dia dah ada dua bonding pair, so dia punya lone pair tak lukis, so lukiskan lone pair dia. Itu sahaja, dua lone pair. So this is how you draw a full expanded structure kalau melibatkan alkohol dan carboxylic acid yang melibatkan ada oksigen. Kalau nitrogen, you kena ingatlah nitrogen ada 3 bonding pair, 1 lone pair. Okay, so you bolehlah cuba draw expanded structure for each of these following hydrocarbons such as propane, propene, propyne and cyclopropane. Okay, kalau propane C3H8, so Miss cubalah, that means dia ada 3 carbon atom and all of them must be a single bond. Kalau propane dia akan ada 1 double bond tapi dia ada 3 carbon. 1, 2, 3. Cuma one of them akan ada 1 saja double bond. Kalau propyne ada triple bond kat situ. Yang lagi satu ni single bond. Okay, tak kisahlah kedudukan dia sebab dia tak spesifikkan pun. Kalau cyclopropane, how? Okay, how to draw an expanded structure for cyclic structure? So, contohnya in this case, dia ada 3 carbon. So, kalau 3 carbon, bentuk cyclic tu akan jadi bentuk segitiga. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Macam tu. Kalau cyclic macam tu, you remember. Kalau let's say dia ada 4 carbon bentuk segi 4. Ada 5 bentuk segi 5, segi 6, segi 7, 8, 9 and so on. So kalau 3 bentuk segi 3. Cumanya you have to lengkapkanlah ada 6 hidrogen kat situ. You tahu carbon boleh buat dia boleh buat 4 covalent bond. So dah ada 2 covalent bond kat sini. So another 2 would be with hydrogen. Okay, same goes to this carbon juga. And also this carbon. Okay. So sekarang adalah 2, 4, 6 hydrogen, 3 carbon. So this is the full expanded structure for cyclic structure, cyclopropane. You can check your answer here after you've done it. So for propane, this is how the expanded structure of propane looks like. Make sure kena ada 3 carbon, 8 hydrogen atom. For propane, kena ada 1 double bond, 6 hydrogen atoms and 3 carbon atoms. Okay, propane kena ada 1 triple bond and then ada 3 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. For cyclopropane, this is how it looks like. Okay. Alright, so for the next structural formula that I want you to learn is about condensed structure. So, apa beza expanded and condensed structure? Okay, kalau expanded structure, you have to show everything, the single bond, kena bawa keluar semua benda. Okay, kalau condensed structure, dia tak akan show single bonds between carbon-carbon single bond except for cyclic structure. Okay, and then carbon hydrogen bond pun you have to sorok. Okay, except kalau let's say kalau double and triple bonds you kena show lah dia punya bond tersebut. And all atoms that are attached to a carbon yang macam halogen atoms ke, functional group OH ke, you have to write it down immediately after that carbon. Okay, for example, if let's say you ada alkane hydrocarbon C4H9Cl, the way you want to write the condensed structure is something like this. Okay, kalau let's say you tak tahu nak lukis macam mana, you lukis dulu dia punya expanded structure then you baru condensekan dia, ya. Okay, previously you ada tengok Cl dekat condensed structure tu dia letak bracket kan. So what is the use of bracket in condensed structures? Is actually to show heteroatoms, functional groups, alkyl groups at the side chain. Contohnya, kalau let's say you ada propan 2-ol, ol ni maksudnya is an alcohol. So, dia punya functional group dia should be OH. Okay, so if you want to draw the condensed structure of propan 2-ol, first thing first, you draw dahulu dia punya expanded structure, which dia ada 3 carbon atoms, ada 8 hydrogen atoms, tapi one of the hydrogen atom akan melekat pada oxygen. Sebab apa? Sebab this is a functional group for alcohol OH. Okay, and don't forget to put the, kalau expanded structure, jangan lupa dekat oksigen ni kena letak lone pad. Okay, so what if kalau you kena condense this expanded structure? Kalau condensed structure, you need to remember dia akan condensekan carbon single bond dan carbon hydrogen single bond. So for this CH3, kita akan condensekan dia menjadi CH3. And then untuk carbon single bond ni kita boleh condensekan dia juga. So terus hilangkan sahaja dia punya single bond ni. Terus buat C and then H. Okay, OH ni kita kena show. Kita tak boleh condensekan dia. Benda yang boleh condense hanyalah carbon single bond dan juga carbon hydrogen single bond. Dua benda ni sahaja yang you boleh condense. Okay? So that's why kita show kewujudan OH kat situ. That's kalau let's say you nak condensekan juga this OH, yes you can. Tapi kita akan letak bracket lah directly after dekat carbon yang dia attach. Contohnya dia attach dekat carbon yang kedua. So directly after you condensekan CH dekat carbon yang kedua, terus letak dalam bracket OH. And teruskan dengan condensekan the next CH3. Macam itulah. Okay, so contohnya kalau ada persamaan CH3 to CHOH, okay. Tapi this one is not preferred. Okay, all of them are condensed structures. Memang condensed. Kita hilangkan CC single bond, CH single bond. Tetapi yang hanya diterima hanyalah dua structure ke atas ni sahaja. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this example. Dia kata kat sini bracket pun can be used to show a similar alkyl groups bonded to the same atom. For example, kalau you ada this kind of expanded structures di mana you ada 4 carbon atoms dan 10 hydrogen atoms, so we know that this carbon atom dia ada 3 similar CH3 groups yang attached to it. So kalau ikutkan dia punya condensed structure will look something like this. Tapi I highly advise you not to write this one kalau let's say you kena buat task assignment, because dia tak show the full representation for this 2-methyl propane. Okay, so I would like you to buat macam ni. Walaupun you tahu ada 3 the similar alkyl groups, similar CH3 yang bonded to this carbon atom, but I want you to show it something like this so that the examiner will know that okay, this is carbon number 1. Carbon number 2, you ada substituent CH3. So this CH3, biarlah this CH3 sahaja yang dalam bracket. Okay, so another one is the last CH3 is this CH3. Okay, so this one, I lagi prefer if you write down the condensed structure that looks something like this. Okay, next is kalau macam mana nak lukis condensed structure for cyclohexane C6H12. C6 kalau let's say cyclic structure bentuk dia macam bentuk hexagon. Okay, so kalau you tak tahu macam mana nak lukis dia punya condensed structure, you can always start with drawing dia punya expanded structure dahulu. Okay, kalau nak lukis expanded structure untuk C6H12, you lukislah bentuk polygon hexagon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then we know that this carbon boleh buat 4 covalent bond. So since that this carbon dia hanya ada 2 covalent bond, so another 2 covalent bonds dia akan buat bond bersama dengan hydrogen. So since that every of these carbon atoms are similar to these carbon atoms, which all of them ada 2 covalent bond, ni pun ada 2, so kita tambah sahajalah another 2 covalent bonds dengan hydrogen atom. So each of the carbon atoms dekat cyclohexane ni akan ada 2 hydrogen atoms. Sebab satu carbon atom kena ada 4 covalent bond untuk cukupkan dia. Okay, so that's why lah cyclohexane dia C6H12. Tapi bila you nak draw dia punya condensed structure, you need to remember you kena hide the carbon single bond. Unless kalau dia cyclic, tak perlu hide. Okay, kalau cyclic show sahaja. And also carbon, hydrogen single bond, and this one kita kena sorok. So this is a cyclic structure. So kalau cyclic structure, carbon-carbon single bond ni terpelihara sikit. Kita kena show. Kecuali carbon hydrogen single bond. Kalau carbon hydrogen single bond in a cyclic structure, kita kena hide. So that's why bila hide, bila you condensekan dia akan jadi macam ni lah. CH2, CH2, CH2 macam ni. Okay. Last one, how can you write the condensed structure for methanol? Methanol ni dia ada dua carbon atoms and then H4O. Tapi methanol ni adalah aldehyde, and functional group untuk aldehyde ialah sebenarnya functional group untuk aldehyde is C double bond OH. Okay. Tapi again, kalau condensed structure, if it is a carbon hydrogen single bond, you need to hide it. So that's why bila you hide, dia jadilah C double bond OH macam ni. Okay, and then dia ada dua sahaja pun carbon. So ni carbon yang memang functional group untuk aldehyde lah, C double bond OH. Aldehyde memang kat hujung kena C double bond OH. So kat sini dia bagi tahu ada dua carbon. So carbon yang pertama ialah CH3. How do you know? Because boleh you letaklah dua carbon dahulu, and you know that satu carbon boleh buat 4 covalent bond. So carbon yang pertama ni kalau ikutkan dia ada satu saja covalent bond with this carbon atom. So another 3 covalent bonds ialah bila dia buat bond bersama hydrogen atoms. Okay, and this carbon dah cukup dah, dia punya 4 covalent bond already. Okay, so when you want to expand it, you can expand this one. Okay, you tak boleh show carbon-carbon single bond and carbon hydrogen single bond kan. So that's why kita condensekan CH3 dan condensekan the bond between carbon and this carbon atom. So jadilah CH3 C double bond OH. Yang ni boleh diterima. Yang this one pun boleh diterima. Sebenarnya kalau condensed structure untuk aldehyde yang kat belakang ni, dia kita condensekan dia dengan CHO. Okay, kita tak boleh condensekan dia dengan CH3 COH macam ni, tak boleh. Sebab kenapa? Sebab OH ni kita dah reserve untuk alkohol. Okay, OH kita dah reserve untuk alkohol, untuk alkohol punya condensed structure. So that's why kalau aldehyde memang dia punya, kalau you nak condense, memang dia punya condensed structure dia ialah CHO. You need to remember that. Kalau this one salah sebab apa? Sebab dia tak condensekan between carbon dan this hydrogen. Sebab carbon hydrogen single bond tak boleh show ya untuk condensed structure.